17. Hidden love affairs in old country music that were kept secret. Behind the songs and the success, country music's biggest stars have hidden love affairs and dramatic relationships that the world never knew about. From secret romances to explosive breakups, these legendary figures lived lives far more complicated than their public personas suggest. The stories of Tammy Wynette and Burt Reynolds' Conway Twitty and Loretta Lynn and Dolly Parton and Porter Wagoner will leave you shocked. What were the untold truths behind their relationships, and how did these love stories shape their careers? Hit the like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to Uncovered Tinseltown. Uncovered for more jaw-dropping revelations. Jim Reeves and Lola Bernice. Terry. Jim Reeves, often referred to as Gentleman Jim, was one of country music's most beloved and influential figures. Known for his smooth voice and calm demeanor, Jim built a career that made him a household name in the 1950s and 1960s. While his public persona was that of a gentleman, his private life was more complicated, especially when it came to his relationship with Lola Bernice Terry, known as Bay Terry. Bay Terry, a Texas native, was an accomplished publicist who worked with various high-profile stars, making a name for herself in the competitive world of Hollywood and Nashville. Her path crossed with Jim's when she became involved in managing his public relations and helping shape his image during his rise to fame. It was during this professional relationship that the two became romantically involved. Although Jim was married to Mary Reeves, his business partner and manager, his love for Bay was undeniable. Jim's affair with Bay was kept largely secret from the public, and it wasn't until much later that the depth of their relationship came to light. Bay had a significant impact on Jim's career, not just as a lover, but also as a confidant and advisor. She helped him refine his musical style, pushing him to move away from his earlier, more hillbilly sound and towards the smoother pop-infused country music that became his trademark. Bay's influence extended to the songs Jim recorded, the way he presented himself to the media, and even the way his career trajectory shifted during this period. Their secret relationship, however, was never fully acknowledged. Despite Jim's affection for Bay, he remained married to Mary, and Bay never fully replaced her in Jim's life. In fact, while Jim openly spoke of his admiration for Bay, he never made any public moves to leave his wife for her. Bay Terry's role in Jim's life went beyond the personal. She was a key figure in his success. She insisted he change his style to a more polished sound, which proved to be a turning point in his career, propelling him into mainstream popularity. One of Jim's biggest hits, Am I Losing You, was written as a reflection of his feelings for Bay, although the public was unaware of its inspiration. In 1964, Jim tragically passed away in a plane crash, and Bay's role in his life remained a well-kept secret for many years. Following his death, Mary Reeves took over Jim's estate and continued to manage his legacy. While the full extent of Jim and Bay's affair was kept under wraps, it is clear that Bay Terry had an undeniable impact on both his career and his heart. Patty Loveless and Emory Gordy. Patty Loveless. A prominent figure in country music, is known for her powerful voice and emotionally charged songs. However, her personal life, particularly her relationship with Emory Gordy Jr., is a testament to the hidden dynamics behind the public facade of fame. Patty and Emory's story began in the early 1970s, a period when Patty was struggling to find her place in the music industry. She attended an Elvis Presley concert in 1973, where she noticed Emory, a bassist for Elvis's band, standing out due to his unorthodox attire compared to the rest of the band. This initial curiosity sparked a connection between the two that would grow into both a personal and professional relationship. Emory, who had already established himself in Nashville's music scene, became an important figure in Patty's career. Despite their growing bond, they kept their marriage a secret for nearly 2 years, a decision driven by concerns over how their relationship might affect their professional lives. Patty, still building her career, felt that revealing the marriage might hurt her image and cause unnecessary attention. Emery, though thrilled by Patty's success, kept his feelings of pride and joy hidden from the public eye, avoiding speaking about her in interviews and maintaining a calm indifference when her name was mentioned in the music industry circles. Their marriage was eventually made public, but the couple remained tight-lipped about the specifics of their early relationship. Patty has spoken about how their quiet commitment to one another helped them avoid distractions, allowing Patty to focus on her music and Emery to continue his work as a session musician and producer. The couple remained married, with Emery playing a crucial role in her musical direction and providing her with the stability she needed in both her personal life and career. Their union, while kept private for so long, was a testament to their love and understanding of the complexities of life in the spotlight. Through it all, Patty Loveless and Emery Gordy Jr. managed to build a lasting relationship that supported Patty's rise to fame, and their quiet, secretive approach to their marriage reflected the often unseen struggles of country music's top stars. June Carter and Johnny Cash. The love story between June Carter and Johnny Cash is one of the most iconic and enduring in country music history. Yet their path to love was far from straightforward, and much of it was kept under wraps during the early years of their relationship. Johnny Cash and June Carter first met in the 1950s when Johnny was already a rising star in the country music scene, and June was a member of the famous Carter family performing at the Grand Ole Opry. Their initial connection was professional, but it was clear to those around them that there was a strong chemistry between the two. At the time, both Johnny and June were married to other people, Johnny to Vivian Liberto and June to her first husband, Carl Smith. Despite these marriages, Johnny and June's bond grew over time as they toured together, and Johnny found himself increasingly drawn to June's warmth, wit, and strength. However, they kept their growing affection for each other mostly secret from the public. June, in particular, was private about her feelings and never openly discussed her relationship with Johnny during their early years together. Their love story was complicated further by Johnny's battles with addiction. During this period, Johnny was struggling with alcohol and drug problems, and June, though deeply in love with him, was hesitant to disrupt her own career or personal life with such a tumultuous relationship. Yet despite their challenges, Johnny and June's connection deepened, with Johnny often publicly speaking of his admiration and respect for June. In 1966, after both Johnny and June had filed for divorce from their respective spouses, their relationship began to blossom publicly. June's role in helping Johnny through his struggles with addiction became a pivotal part of their story. The couple finally married in 1968, and their wedding was a symbol of their commitment to one another. Johnny proposed to June on stage, a moment that would become a defining moment in both of their careers. Their marriage not only marked the beginning of a personal partnership, but also a professional one, as they continued to collaborate musically, creating some of their most memorable work together. The couple's marriage was far from perfect, with ongoing struggles including Johnny's addiction and health issues, but their bond remained unshakable. June remained by Johnny's side throughout, and their relationship continued to thrive despite the pressures of fame. Together, they recorded several duets, including the iconic Jackson, which became one of their most well-known collaborations. Johnny Cash and June Carter's love story is often seen as a testament to overcoming personal demons, the power of mutual support, and the enduring nature of true love. Their relationship, built on music understanding and shared struggles, remains a powerful narrative in the world of country music, proving that sometimes the greatest love stories are the ones that remain hidden in the shadows until the very end. Tammy Wynette and George Jones. The love story between Tammy Wynette and George Jones is one of the most tragic yet iconic in country music history. Known as Mr. and Mrs. Country Music, their tumultuous relationship was both a blessing and a curse for their careers. Tammy, already a rising star, met George in the mid-1960s. At the time, Tammy was married to her second husband, and George was struggling with alcohol and drug addiction. Despite their personal challenges, their musical chemistry was undeniable, and they quickly became inseparable. Their affair began shortly after they met, though both were married at the time. Tammy's marriage was already in trouble, and George, known for his personal demons, found solace in Tammy. In 1968, after a whirlwind romance, Tammy divorced her second husband, and she and George married in 1969. However, their marriage was far from perfect. George's battles with alcoholism and temper issues created constant strife, and Tammy struggled with her own insecurities and the pressures of being in the spotlight. Their relationship was plagued with turmoil, but their music soared. Together, they produced some of the most beloved duets in country music, including Golden Ring, a song about a troubled marriage that mirrored their own life. Despite their struggles, their shared love for country music and their bond as artists kept them together professionally. However, by the mid-1970s, their personal issues took a toll, and they divorced in 1975. Though their marriage ended in divorce, their connection never truly severed. Tammy and George continued to collaborate musically and remain a fixture in each other's lives. George famously said Tammy was my one true love. After their divorce, Tammy continued to release hit records, but she never remarried. George, on the other hand, had several more relationships, but none that could compare to the bond he shared with Tammy. Their story remains one of the most bittersweet in the history of country music, as they were both legendary artists, but their personal lives were marked by pain and regret. Despite their failed marriage, the world was still able to enjoy the beauty of their music, which continues to resonate with fans to this day. Conway. Twitty and Loretta Lynn. Conway. Twitty and Loretta Lynn were one of the most beloved duos in country music. Their musical chemistry undeniable, and their connection palpable. Despite never publicly acknowledging a romantic involvement, their love story has been a topic of much speculation over the years. Their relationship was strictly professional at first, but the deep bond they shared on stage and behind the scenes was evident to everyone who witnessed their interactions. Conway and Loretta first teamed up in the 1970s, and their duet albums became instant classics. They recorded several hits, including Louisiana Woman, Mississippi Man, After the Fire Is Gone, and You're the Reason Our Kids Are Ugly. These songs not only showcased their perfect harmonies, but also hinted at the closeness they shared. Fans who saw the undeniable affection between the two during performances often speculated that there was more to their relationship than just a professional partnership. Both Conway and Loretta were married to other people during their collaborations, with Conway being married to his wife Jerlene and Loretta to her husband Oliver Doolittle Lynn. However, there were moments that suggested their relationship was far more than just friendly. In one famous performance of Hello Darlin', Conway sang directly to Loretta, his gaze fixed on her with such intensity that it left little doubt about their feelings for each other. At the end of the performance, Conway leaned over and kissed Loretta, a gesture that seemed to confirm their special bond. Though they were never romantically involved in the way fans hoped, their deep admiration and affection for each other were clear. Loretta once admitted that Conway was the love of my life, and Conway's admiration for Loretta was well known in the country music community. Their mutual respect and affection were palpable, and their friendship stood the test of time. After Conway's death in 1993, Loretta was devastated. She spoke openly about the loss of her friend and the impact Conway had on her life. In interviews, she expressed how much she cherished their time together and how much his friendship meant to her. Conway, for his part, often spoke of his deep love for Loretta, calling her the sweetest woman I know. Their story is one of the most enduring in country music, showing that sometimes the deepest connections aren't always the ones that the world sees. While their romantic involvement may have been a rumor, their musical collaboration and lasting friendship remain one of the most celebrated aspects of their legacy. Tanya Tucker and Glenn Campbell. Tanya Tucker and Glenn Campbell shared one of the most passionate and tumultuous relationships in country music history. Their connection, marked by both fiery chemistry and intense drama, began in the early 1980s. Tanya, at the time a rising star in country music, was drawn to Glenn Campbell, the seasoned veteran with a rich history in both country and pop music. The two first met when Tanya was only in her early 20s, and Glenn, who was 22 years her senior, had recently gone through a divorce. Despite their age difference, the chemistry between them was undeniable, and they quickly became involved in a passionate love affair. Their relationship was filled with high highs and low lows. Glenn's history of substance abuse combined with Tanya's own struggles with maintaining stable relationships created a volatile mix. Yet their love was undeniable, and they continued their affair for roughly a year. During their time together, they collaborated musically, recording duets such as Dream Lover and Shoulder to Shoulder, which reflected the emotional turbulence of their personal relationship. Glenn showered Tanya with extravagant gestures, including throwing her a lavish $57,000 birthday party when she turned 22. But despite these moments of lavish romance, their relationship was ultimately unsustainable. Tanya later admitted that she was too young to handle the intense emotions and challenges that came with being involved with someone like Glenn, whose struggles with alcohol and prescription drugs made it difficult for their relationship to thrive. After about a year, the couple parted ways, though Tanya continued to express admiration for Glenn throughout her life, calling him the love of my life in later interviews. Their relationship, though short-lived, remains one of the most memorable in country music, filled with passion, heartache, and an undeniable musical connection. Kris Kristofferson and Janis Joplin. Kris Kristofferson and Janis Joplin's brief but intense relationship is often overshadowed by Janis's tragic death, yet their time together is remembered as one of the most poignant and passionate affairs in the world of music. The two met in the early 1970s, when both were at pivotal moments in their careers. Janis, the raw, powerful voice of the counterculture, and Kris, an up-and-coming songwriter and performer. Their love affair was marked by deep emotional connection and undeniable chemistry, though it was short-lived. Kris Kristofferson, who had already been married by the time he met Janis, was captivated by her intensity and vulnerability. Janis, in turn, was drawn to Kris's quiet strength and his complex understanding of her inner turmoil. The relationship was not without its complications, particularly as both Janis and Kris were struggling with personal issues. Janis's substance abuse problems, which would tragically lead to her overdose in 1970, were already beginning to spiral out of control during their brief affair. Their love story remains shrouded in mystery, as neither Kris nor Janis openly discussed the details of their time together in the years following Janis's death. However, it is known that Kris was profoundly affected by her passing. In fact, he was the first to hear Janis's recording of Me and Bobby McGee, a song he had written. Kris revealed that he did not know she had recorded the song until after her death, and he was so overcome with emotion when he first heard it that he had to leave the room. The song became one of Janis's most iconic hits and remains a testament to the bond they shared. Despite the brevity of their relationship, Kris Kristofferson and Janis Joplin left an indelible mark on each other's lives. Janis's death at just 27 years old left Kris heartbroken, and the song Me and Bobby McGee became a symbolic link between the two, immortalizing their connection. Although their affair was brief, it was powerful, and the music they created continues to reflect the depth of their brief but significant relationship. Bobby Jett and Hank Williams. The secret love affair between Hank Williams and Bobby Jett is a heartbreaking chapter in the life of one of country music's greatest legends. Hank Williams, the troubled but brilliant singer and songwriter, was already a star when he met Bobby Jett, a young dancer and aspiring singer, in 1952. At the time, Hank was still married to his wife Audrey, and his struggles with alcohol, drugs, and personal demons were well known. Despite his fame, Hank's personal life was filled with turmoil, and his relationship with Bobby would only add to the complications. Bobby Jett and Hank's affair was brief but intense. It began in early 1952 when Hank was performing in Nashville. Bobby, who was part of Hank's inner circle, became romantically involved with him, leading to an unexpected pregnancy. Unaware of the pregnancy at first, Bobby traveled to California, and when she returned, it was clear she was expecting Hank's child. This secret affair, hidden from the public eye, became more complicated when Hank was involved with other women, leading to a turbulent time for both Hank and Bobby. Hank, who was struggling with his addiction and deteriorating health, continued his chaotic lifestyle even while Bobby was pregnant. The relationship quickly ended as Hank's personal and professional life spiraled out of control. Bobby, meanwhile, found herself in the difficult position of raising Hank's daughter, whom she named Catherine Yvonne Stone, after Hank's mother, Lily Williams Stone. The story of Bobby Jett and Hank Williams took a tragic turn after Hank's death in January 1953, just months after their brief affair. Bobby, who had been largely ignored by Hank's estate, fought to prove that Hank Williams was the father of her child, which led to a lengthy legal battle. Bobby's daughter, later known as Jett Williams, eventually inherited a share of Hank's estate after a protracted court case. The love affair between Hank and Bobby remained a quiet, painful part of Hank's legacy, overshadowed by his untimely death and the aftermath of his troubled life. Waylon Jennings and Jessi Colter. Waylon Jennings and Jessi Colter's relationship was a defining chapter in the outlaw country movement, blending love, music, and rebellion. Both Waylon and Jessi were already established stars when they met in the 1960s, but their connection was forged on a foundation of shared artistic vision and personal struggles. Waylon Jennings, known for his rugged image and raw sound, was married several times before finding his true soulmate in Jessi Colter, an equally powerful figure in country music. Their romance began in the late 1960s, when Jessi was beginning to make her mark in Nashville. Waylon was already known for rejecting the polished commercial sound of mainstream Nashville country music in favor of a more raw, authentic style, which would later define the outlaw country movement. Jessi, with her unique voice and fierce independence, was a perfect match for Waylon's rebellious spirit. They married in 1969, and their union was a perfect blend of personal and professional. Their collaboration helped propel both of their careers to new heights, with Jessi contributing backing vocals to Waylon's records and Waylon playing a significant role in Jessi's musical success. Together, they made music that challenged the conventions of Nashville, creating a new sound that would change the direction of country music forever. Their relationship was not without its struggles. Waylon had been married multiple times before, and his battle with addiction was well known. Jessi, too, had her own demons, but their shared passion for music and mutual respect for one another helped them endure the tough times. Waylon's musical influence on Jessi was significant, as he helped produce her music and pushed her to explore her own artistic potential. Despite the challenges, Waylon and Jessi's marriage remained strong. They had one son together, Shooter Jennings, who would go on to follow in his parents' footsteps as a musician. Waylon often credited Jessi with being the anchor in his life, providing the stability and love he needed during his battles with addiction and his tumultuous career. Waylon Jennings and Jessi Colter's marriage is often regarded as one of the most enduring and authentic in the country music world. Their love story became a symbol of the outlaw country movement, with both artists continuing to influence the genre long after their time together. Their relationship, both personal and professional, proved that love can endure even the harshest of circumstances, and their musical legacy continues to inspire country artists to this day. Loretta Lynn and Oliver. Doolittle. Lynn. The relationship between Loretta Lynn and her husband Oliver Doolittle Lynn was both a source of inspiration and heartache throughout her career. Married in 1948 when Loretta was just 15 years old and Doolittle was 21, their relationship was marked by early struggles and lifelong complexities. Doolittle, known as Doo, was a pivotal figure in Loretta's rise to fame, serving as her manager and guiding her musical career. However, their personal life was anything but smooth, filled with turbulence that Loretta later channeled into some of her most powerful songs. The couple's marriage was turbulent from the beginning. Loretta has often spoken about the difficulties she faced with Doolittle, especially during the early years of their marriage. Doolittle had a history of infidelity, and his drinking habits created considerable tension. Yet, despite these issues, Loretta remained deeply committed to him, and their marriage endured for over 4 decades until Doolittle's death in 1996. Loretta once described how their personal challenges fueled much of her songwriting, including hits like "You Ain't Woman Enough to Take My Man" and "The Pill." These songs often reflected the emotional strain she experienced, but also the strength she found in her resilience. Doolittle, while flawed, played a significant role in Loretta's career. He encouraged her to pursue her dreams and was a driving force behind her success, even though his actions sometimes hurt their relationship. Loretta frequently credited Doolittle with being the one to encourage her to start writing her own songs and performing despite his complicated and sometimes destructive behaviors. He was also instrumental in making sure she made a name for herself in Nashville, despite the discrimination and challenges women faced in the country music industry. Despite the painful parts of their marriage, Loretta and Doolittle shared many moments of joy and laughter, and she often referred to him as her rock. Their relationship, with all its ups and downs, remains one of the most influential in country music history, shaping not only Loretta's personal life, but also her musical legacy. Loretta's unflinching honesty about her marriage to Doolittle resonated deeply with her fans, making her one of the most relatable and respected figures in country music. Dolly Parton and Porter Wagoner. The relationship between Dolly Parton and Porter Wagoner is one of the most complex and well-documented in country music history. While many fans have long speculated about the true nature of their bond, their partnership was largely professional, though not without its emotional complications. Porter Wagoner, a country music legend in his own right, introduced Dolly to the world when he invited her to join his television show, The Porter Wagoner Show, in 1967. This partnership not only skyrocketed Dolly's career, but also created a dynamic that would shape both their lives for years to come. Their on-stage chemistry was undeniable, and the two became one of the most popular duos in country music, releasing multiple albums and chart-topping hits. Songs like "The Last Thing on My Mind" and "Please Don't Stop Loving Me" solidified their status as a beloved pair in the country music world. However, their relationship was far from smooth behind the scenes. Porter, who had a controlling nature, reportedly became possessive of Dolly's rising stardom. This strained their professional relationship, especially as Dolly's career began to outgrow their partnership. Dolly Parton has been very open about the complexities of her relationship with Porter. She often described how Porter helped her get her start, but as she became more successful, the tension between them grew. Parton had dreams of a solo career and felt increasingly stifled by the limitations Porter's control placed on her. Their personal bond also became strained as Dolly began to assert herself more in the music industry. In an interview, Dolly famously said, "I couldn't go any further as long as I was under Porter's thumb." This dynamic ultimately led to Dolly's decision to leave Porter's show in 1974 and go on to pursue her solo career, which quickly turned her into a global superstar. Despite the professional tension and eventual separation, Dolly has always maintained that she loved Porter and respected the role he played in her career. She wrote the hit song "I Will Always Love You" as a heartfelt goodbye to Porter, expressing both love and sadness over their parting. The song would go on to become one of her signature hits, and it remains one of the most poignant ballads in country music history. Porter Wagoner, for his part, always had great affection for Dolly, but their partnership was marked by a complicated mix of love, business, and creative ambition. Their relationship may not have been a traditional romantic one, but it was undeniably one of the most influential and emotionally charged in the history of country music. Tammy Wynette and Burt Reynolds. The romance between country music legend Tammy Wynette and Hollywood heartthrob Burt Reynolds is one of the most fascinating and unexpected love stories in both the country music and film worlds. Their affair, which lasted from 1967 to 1975, was full of both passion and turbulence, and it significantly impacted both of their lives. At the time, Tammy was already a rising star in the country music scene, known for her hit song "Stand By Your Man," while Burt was becoming a major box office draw, especially after his breakout role in Smokey and the Bandit. Tammy and Burt first met while they were both performing on a television show hosted by country artist Jerry Reed. Their chemistry was immediate, and the two quickly became inseparable. Burt, known for his good looks and charismatic personality, was a stark contrast to Tammy's public persona as the First Lady of country music. While Tammy was more reserved in her personal life, Burt's Hollywood status and reputation as a ladies' man added an element of excitement to their romance. However, despite their undeniable attraction, their relationship was far from easy. In 1970, during their time together, Tammy saved Burt's life when she found him unconscious in a bathtub at her Florida home after a severe low blood sugar episode. She quickly revived him, and the two continued their relationship despite the increasing tension between their very different careers. Tammy had her own battles to face, particularly with her tumultuous marriage to George Jones, which would later affect her personal and professional life. Eventually, Burt and Tammy's relationship came to an end in 1975, not long after they had a brief separation. Although their romance did not last, they remained friends. Tammy went on to marry again, and Burt's relationships became just as publicized in Hollywood, but the bond they shared during their affair remained a poignant chapter in both of their histories. Burt later spoke fondly of Tammy, reflecting on their time together as a deeply meaningful experience, and their short but intense relationship is remembered as one of country music's most fascinating intersections with Hollywood. Garth Brooks and Trisha Yearwood. Garth Brooks and Trisha Yearwood's love story is one of country music's most enduring and admired partnerships. Their romance, which blossomed amidst the pressures of fame and success, is a testament to the power of love and mutual respect in the music industry. Both Garth and Trisha were already successful in their own right before they became romantically involved, with Garth dominating the country charts in the 1990s and Trisha earning critical acclaim as a rising star. Their story began long before they became a couple, with Garth and Trisha meeting in the 1990s while working together on various music projects. The two first collaborated on Garth's 1991 hit, The Dance, and their professional relationship blossomed into a deep friendship. However, both Garth and Trisha were married to other people at the time, and their personal lives were complicated. Garth was married to his first wife, Sandy Mall, and Trisha was married to her first husband, Chris Latham. Despite their strong bond, they kept their growing connection under wraps. As Garth's fame soared, his personal life became more difficult to manage. By 2000, Garth and Sandy had divorced, and Trisha's marriage also came to an end. With their personal lives in flux, Garth and Trisha found comfort in one another. They began dating in 2002, and their relationship quickly turned into a lasting love story. Garth and Trisha's connection was evident not only in their music, but also in their shared values and understanding of the pressures of life in the public eye. The couple married in December 2005, and their union was celebrated by fans and peers alike. Their shared love for music, their down-to-earth personalities, and their ability to support each other through difficult times has made them one of country music's most beloved couples. Their collaboration on songs like In Another's Eyes and Shameless is a testament to their musical synergy, and their relationship continues to be one of mutual admiration and deep affection. Garth Brooks and Trisha Yearwood are not only a powerful couple in country music, but also a shining example of how love can thrive in the spotlight. Their story is one of true partnership, where both individuals support each other's dreams and careers while maintaining a strong personal connection. Lefty Frizzell and Alice Harper. Lefty Frizzell, one of country music's most influential pioneers, is remembered for his smooth voice and ability to blend traditional country sounds with his own unique style. His personal life, however, was not as smooth as his music, especially in his relationship with Alice Harper, his wife. Lefty married Alice in 1945, and they had 3 children together. Alice, a woman of strong character, stood by Lefty throughout his tumultuous career, but their marriage was far from idyllic. The early years of their marriage were marked by Lefty's struggles with alcohol, which led to several public incidents and legal issues. In 1947, Lefty was arrested and jailed for having a sexual encounter with an underage fan, which led to a 6-month sentence. This scandal rocked both his personal life and his career. During his time in prison, Lefty expressed his remorse and love for Alice through heartfelt letters and poetry. One of these poems would become his famous song, "I Love You a Thousand Ways," which he wrote to Alice while incarcerated. Despite his infidelities and legal troubles, Alice chose to stand by Lefty. Their marriage remained intact, and Alice played a critical role in Lefty's eventual return to the music scene after his time in jail. However, Lefty's alcohol dependency and continued struggles with personal demons kept him from fully embracing the life Alice wanted. Alice remained supportive, though their marriage was strained. Lefty's relationship with Alice ended on a bittersweet note when he passed away in 1975 at the age of 47, his life cut short by years of substance abuse. Their marriage, while challenging, remained a crucial part of Lefty's life, and his devotion to Alice, despite his flaws, was evident in his music. Hank Williams and Audrey Shepherd. The relationship between Hank Williams and Audrey Shepherd was marked by both intense love and devastating turmoil, making it one of the most complicated in country music history. Hank Williams, one of the genre's most influential figures, met Audrey Shepherd in 1943 while performing in a medicine show in Pike County, Alabama. At the time, Audrey was estranged from her first husband, and Hank, then just beginning to gain recognition, swept her off her feet. They married quickly in 1944, just days after Audrey's divorce from her first husband was finalized. From the start, their marriage was rocky. Hank's struggles with alcoholism and his increasingly erratic behavior put a strain on their relationship. Audrey, who was known for her ambition and strong-willed nature, stood by Hank through his rise to fame, but their personal life was marked by frequent fights and Hank's infidelities. Audrey, too, had her own issues, including her controlling behavior, which only added to the friction between them. Despite these difficulties, Audrey helped manage Hank's career and was a key figure in his early success, though Hank's substance abuse continued to create problems. Their marriage faced significant challenges, including Audrey's suspicion of Hank's other relationships and her efforts to control his career and personal life. By 1952, their marriage had deteriorated further, and they divorced. Hank, devastated by the end of his marriage, continued his destructive behavior, which led to his tragic death in January 1953 at just 29 years old. Audrey went on to manage Hank's estate after his death, maintaining control over his legacy while continuing to raise their son Randall Hank Williams, who would later become known as Hank Williams Jr. Despite their tumultuous marriage, Audrey's contributions to Hank's career and her role in his legacy cannot be understated. Their relationship, though marred by infidelity, addiction, and heartache, remains a significant part of Hank Williams' story, marking the highs and lows of a legendary figure in country music history. The relationships between these iconic country stars, Dolly Parton and Porter Wagoner Conway Twitty, and Loretta Lynn, Tammy Wynette, and Burt Reynolds, are filled with both passion and turbulence. Behind the glitz and glamour, these love stories reveal the complexities of fame, love, and personal struggle. From secret affairs to public heartbreaks, their connections shaped their careers and left a lasting impact on country music. Which of these relationships surprised you the most, and why? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Uncovered Tinseltown. Uncovered for more shocking stories from the world of country music.